blend or blur, sharpen, and smudge. For the for this project, you shouldn't really need the sharpen tool. It's just the blur and the smudge tool. I'm going to show you the difference between the two. Smudge is going to blur the ink. See how much I hate using these little stylus? So that's why I said devote half an hour to using this. If you decide you hate it, go back to the mouse. But I want everybody to try going on it. Yep. So if I'm on smudge, again, I can make my smudge brush bigger or smaller using the bracket tool. And then when I smudge the image, does everybody see my clouds moving? I'm smudging the pigments there. And it's going to depend on which layer you're on. Because I'm on the clouds layer, the smudge is only affecting the clouds. So what it's doing is it's going to smudge in whatever direction I'm moving it. So when I click with the pen, you don't need to use the buttons on the side of the pen, you just need to use the pressure from the pen. Because I'm doing this in big marks here, it's slowing down the computer a little bit. If I zoomed in and I did this a little more intentionally, it would move a little faster. You can also see a little bit more how these colors are all on the same layer. Because they're on the same layer, I can smudge them together. Okay? If they were not on the same layer, I could not smudge them together. So if you're trying to smudge two different layers together, you have to combine the layers. You have to merge the layers. If you select the two layers and then you right-click on it, you'll see an option that says Merge Layers. Okay? So that's how smudge works. The other option that you have is blur. Blur is more of a changing the clarity, the focus of the tool, of the layer. So if I blur this, it does a little bit at a time. If I push the pen on it multiple times, off and on, it'll blur more or less. Let me zoom into something that has a little more detail so you can see what I mean. If I utilize the treetops here, and I blur, if I zoom in, you can see how it's blurring the sharp lines. And you can change the strength of that, you can change the mode of that. I would leave the mode on normal for the majority of what you're doing. But you can change the strength. If I change the strength really high, you see how the blur is really strong every click? What this is going to do is it's going to give you depth of field. So if it's something that's in the background that isn't in sharp focus, you're probably going to want to blur it a little bit. If it's really in the background, a mountain in the background or something, you're probably going to want to blur it a lot. If it's colors that you're trying to blend together, you're probably going to want to smudge it. If it's clouds, you're probably going to want to smudge it a lot. You can also, debating whether I want to show you blend tools or not, because they can get tricky for the ease of this assignment. No, I think I'm going to leave it at just those tools right now. If you are familiar with paint blending tools, you can use them.